Welcome to Early Morning Catechism. It is now the middle of Lent, and during Lent a lot of attention is paid in our parishes to people who are preparing for entering the Catholic Church, either as people who have not yet been baptized or people who are entering the church and were members of another denomination. I bet, though, you may have seen people taken out of church every Sunday after the homily or heard the term RCIA. You might not fully understand what it's about. But since everything kind of comes together during Lent, I would like to take these next 4 weeks to speak to you about the RCIA, the Rite of Christian Initiation of Adults. This is not something new. It was at its fullest development around the year 300. And then the church drifted away from that, and there's a reason, or several reasons, but it kind of lost baptism, lost its beauty, I believe, after the RCIA died out. It came back again, basically through the African churches, and then was mandated, at least for the United States, for Lent of 1988. The RCIA follows, it's not a program, it's a process. And it is not supposed to follow the school year. Unfortunately, most often it does. People come into the process in September and they're initiated at the Easter Vigil. At any rate, let's take a look at the board and let's point out how the process goes. Basically, there are 4 periods of time: the inquiry, the catechumenate, the enlightenment, and mystagogia. We'll be talking about these 4 periods of time in the next 4 weeks. Between each period of time are liturgical rites: the rite of welcome, the rite of election, and then the biggie, the initiation rites at the Easter Vigil. So for today, let's just talk about the inquiry time. And let me emphasize that the inquiry time and the catechumenate have no definite time limit. A person can be in the inquiry stage or the period for years. What happens is that a person is interested in the Catholic Church, in the Catholic faith. And so they come to sessions that the parish offers called inquiry sessions. It's informal, it's for an indefinite time. As I said, a person could come for years and they can feel free to drop out of the process at any time. It's informal. Inquiry, questions. What questions do you have about the Catholic faith? Usually the person comes to a group meeting with another person who may eventually become their sponsor, or maybe it's their spouse. They can ask anything at all that they would like. And I bet you could guess what the 2 main questions are. Do we have to worship Mary? If I become a Catholic, do I have to worship Mary? I have worked for many years in the RCIA. That often is the question that comes up, and the immediate answer is we don't. We do not worship Mary. I even tell people, you could be a Catholic and not ever pray to Mary. But what you need to know is that Catholics do honor Mary, and we do pray to her. If this is something you personally cannot do, you can still become a Catholic. We would hope that eventually the person would have a devotion to Mary. The other question, must I go to confession to a priest? And we talk about the reasons that Catholics do go to confession to a priest. And I assure them, if you are not baptized, you do not need to receive the sacrament of reconciliation at this time coming into the church, because baptism will take care of it. If people do not have particular questions, then we take them through some things that they may want to know about the church. I used to use these handouts from Liguori Press, and the different topics that we would cover are Mass, the saints, Mary. What about places in the church, like the tabernacle? Who's who in the church, like the Pope and the bishops? What kinds of prayers do Catholics pray? What about the liturgical year? And then what's the place of the Bible, and what's the place of sacred tradition? But the people coming in who may have many, many other questions to answer or to ask, we may not always have the answers, but we try our best.